All right, welcome. Happy Sunday. This was a little bit of a last minute gathering, and so I know we're going to have a lot of people joining in on the recording. My name is Mackenzie. I'm the founder of KAKAO, Ceremonial Drinking Chocolate. I'm here on the sacred land of Maui, Hawaii, and I am honored to be connecting with you all today across the globe for a very special communion, for a very special communion between all of us. And we have been graced by Rutury and his beautiful wife. They're coming in from Arizona in Page Springs, and he is a traditional lineage carrier from the Wixa'rika tribe. And I apologize that my voice is a little bit raspy today, but I had the privilege of meeting them back almost a year ago. So it was last June, and as soon as I connected with them, I knew they were people I wanted to get to know even better, and so they have said yes to sharing their presence with us today, and so we're so honored. For those of you that don't know, we're at the end of the Rainbow Warriors edition of KAKAO. So every month we do a batch blessing for KAKAO, and this month is the Rainbow Warriors blessing. I've spoken a lot about it. It is all over Instagram. I've sent out newsletters. If you want to tap into what's coming through and how that can activate you, even as a Rainbow Warrior in this very pivotal time on the planet. So without further ado, I would love to introduce us and welcome in Rutury. How do you say your name? I'm gonna
Just
pass.
like that, just like the way you're saying it.
Okay, awesome.
Uh,
I'm going to put you in the spotlight here, make sure everyone can see you.
Okay.
Um, can everyone see him as the main screen? Yes?
I see thumbs. Thumbs
Okay.
up.
Thank you so much for being here today. Before you get into an introduction, is there any prayer or blessing that you would like to share to drop us all in together?
Yes, um, from my Wixa'rika Wicho perspective, before any meeting, before any ceremony, we are always no matter where we are, what part of the world, we're always honoring the four elements. As we understand humanly that is a major part in us human beings, but also our world. So it's a very short prayer, but it's to acknowledge, but also to invite those energies to be a part of this ceremony gathering that you're doing here. So just bear with me. It's in my dialect. My language is not written, it's only spoken. So here are the words, all right? Ta iyarim o apatite muane tamuts, ikukumana, tahima, yurianaka, otata, tseriata pamane, hikatamuts ta iyari, pemuane akakon hikuyane na inen, ta iyarim kumana, kupurim, pamtana. Pampalios, thank you. Thank you for allowing me to open this with this prayer, this gathering. Should I continue? Okay. For everyone that is joining on in this precious time, my name is Rutury. I come from the tribe Huichol. It's known in the wider world, but in short, we like to be known more by Wixa'rika people. My tribe is located in Mexico, central Mexico. Um, to this day, we still do not have running water, electricity, although it's there, but we like to rely more on nature. So my community that I come from, it's Huautla, San Sebastian, and it's still run by people like myself, traditional medicine people. And like my grandfather was a traditional medicine man, my father was a traditional medicine man, and my sister, who passed away 10 years ago. And that's how I came to live here in Arizona. So I come from that lineage, from traditional medicine people. So everything that I will share today, everything that you have questions to me, it's only It's not done because I went to school and learned that. It's done because I was taught by verbally by my grandfather, by my father and my sister and my community. So what I share with you, it's something that it's been just passed on like we are here together. So I'm really very, very honored to be a part of this gathering at this moment. Maybe someday I can go there at your place, Mackenzie. Love to hear that. So this is who I am. And thank you for joining us for this special occasion. I'm very, very happy to be here with you guys. I don't know if I should just, go on into
Yes.
some of the things that you highlighted.
Yes, yes, I can totally help, guide the conversation. I just
Yeah,
wanted
please.
you a moment to, yeah, to introduce yourself, and that was perfect. Um, and just sharing a little bit about your background. And I know I'm sure you'll bring up your sister in a little bit. But essentially, you mentioned this pivotal time, this precious time on our planet. And my first question was that, what are you seeing out in the world? And in that, what do you feel that we need more of in
Yeah.
times right now?
Yeah. Thank you for the opportunity because, like I said, where I come from, I'm constantly in touch with my traditional elders, and they are the ones that do not speak any other language. They are the ones that are only speak or gather only when it's necessary, kind of like the monks or other tribals. So we are the messengers of them. So what I like to share at this moment is it is so important. I'm often and quite more than often, I'm encouraged to really have gatherings like places like now. People need to come together. People need to express. People need to share ceremonies. And those of us that don't have communities, those of us that don't have a tribe, it is important to still come together and support. And you may not understand the prayers or ceremonies, but just being present, you really can start to internalize that. And that's what they encourage a lot. They say, like me, I'm one of the few people that is able to talk in English and Espanol and then our dialect. So for example, when I return home and I take this message over there, they say, we want to hear you. What are the people saying over there where you are, when you hold ceremonies, when you go to events? What are they concerned about? And my answer to them is very similar. I said, they're concerned in a bigger picture about the way we are caring for each other, the way we are treating each other, the way a lot of us have forgotten and walked away from healing ourselves. And because what it's affecting where you are and other parts of the world, it's also affecting in our communities. So their encouragement is to keep gathering, to come together and share and be with nature, be with everything that it's even if it's not familiarized, just be with that. So I'm here to share that, and that's why when we first met, it kind of just resonated with your journey, what you continue to do, or what you started years ago. It is just right there. We're in alignment. So I want to support and continue to do that for you and all the people out there.
Beautiful. I love that so much. And
Yeah.
and on that note, you've been welcoming groups to your place, right? Do you want to share a little bit about that?
Yeah, my companion and I like to say my companion of life, instead of my wife, because in our dialect, we don't have like my land or my this or my that. We relay more in my companion of life. That way there's no that like attachment, like you can't do one without the, isn't it something of how language is? I mean, but I learned. So
Wow.
going back to what you questioned me, is yes, last year we just started to opening our center here, Ancient Springs, and we have been blessed by having groups that come in here with like-minded. And often I'm invited to initiate their ceremony and close their ceremony. And it's a wonderful because there by me participating in their ceremony, it's happening what the elders are asking. Be part of it. Even if you don't understand their intention or their ceremony, be part of it. And perhaps they can be a part of you. So it's happening that. So since last year, we've been very, very happy to share our center and for groups. Mostly we are not catering large groups. We cater more approximately anywhere from 10 to maximum of 17 or 16 people. Because we believe our land needs to really have that connection with individual people, but also the leaders, also the other people that are here. So we want to leave space for that. So they're here for 3 or 4 nights, and then we leave on about 3 or 4 days off because, again, treating our land and our trees and our trails like if it was alive. They need that space. They need that breathing. So when next group comes, it's refresh again. So that's the mentality that we like to continue to do. And this is from the community that I come from. So we like to share that with that. So it's been great getting to know all walks of life, Waka people. It's been wonderful.
Uh, and I can attest, I've been to their place and I just dropped the website in the chat. It is so incredible. They have a running spring. It is just so well taken care of. The love, the art, everything you've poured into it is it's such a sacred space for
Mm.
ceremony, for healing, for communion, for dropping in together. Um, with what you do see and experience out in the world today, how do you feel we can play an important role in establishing more harmony, in bringing more peace to the planet?
Yeah, again, I'm really pleased to share this with anybody. And it's not a religion when you start to practice, going lighting a candle or going into nature and just shed out all these good things. So it is really important for as a family or as a couple or by yourself to go out there and into nature or even in backyard of your house or the front or even in your home if you have an altar, what we call it in Spanish. It is so important to really keep pouring your thoughts of good things, not necessarily, I want to stop the war, but just keep sending more good positive feed. Um, and really be mindful, don't let any other things permeate your mind as you are doing that. Be grounded and I'll give you an example. Like when I do my morning prayer, every morning I do my morning prayer before sunrise. I face the sun and I say, teach me. Put me in those places where I need to be an instrument. And that's a very simple prayer, but I say it in a very, very humble way. I'm not asking to gain, something that I cannot handle, but rather gratitude, saying, I am grateful again to be awake and teach me. Put me in situation to be helpful for others. Gestures like that, it helps our environment, it helps our elements, it helps us ourselves. We feel better. It's like saying hello to somebody strange that you never met. That gesture, that energy right there, it goes up and we are blessed. So I want to encourage more of that. And that's something that we all did many, many hundreds of years ago. We honor one another, we bow into each other, we respected each other. And I think we still can reclaim that. We can do that. There's a lot that we need to go over to get to that, but it's doable. I really think it's doable. And some of us, that have religion, some of us that have our culture, if you trace the threads of that, you'll see that that's how we treated one another with dignity and honor. And that energy goes into our earth, into our air, one of the elements, and it's needed. It's needed for our well-being. Our plants respond, and anything, our four-legged ones respond. If you have cats or dogs, I mean, I just saw my puppy just came in and sniffed my toe right now, and he went back out there. I said, okay, that's a blessing. So I really want to encourage that. We can all do our part, and it doesn't have to be in major way. And if it is, let it be. Just do it in an unconditional way. That's something that it's again is shared from my elders, the way I was taught, the way I was raised, and the way I continue to be with all of you and anybody that comes or that I come across with. So I hope that gives you a little bit of sense of, for those of us that don't know what to do or want to do more, just a prayer, just a hello to a neighbor or somebody. We make a difference. We really do.
Mm. It's so simple and yet so true. Thank you. I love that.
Yeah.
You shared a little bit about your morning practice, and is there something you do to close the day or at sun?
Yeah. I'm glad you're tapping into that. It is so essential. Again, culturally, we are taught that when the sun rises, we need to greet it with gratitude. Like you're welcoming somebody that you haven't seen for a long time in a poetic way, and words and thoughts and our mind and our energy. And culturally, we are also taught that when the sun is going down, we say, I will see you tomorrow again. I will be here. I will be ready again. And here's my prayer. And it doesn't have to be a prayer like in a religious way. It can be how it comes through you. Be that funnel, be that instrument that this is what you need to do. And if somebody wants to join you, great. If your daughter or neighbor or somebody wants to be there, fantastic. But even ourselves, we are so gifted, so powerful that when we do that, as the sun is going away from our world, the energy, the thought, the energy that comes out through our mouth, it reaches that and it goes through this cycle, and then here we are again, receiving it with gratitude. So if we kind of practice that, if we make it into a habit before you choose something or before your mind gets cluttered with all the activities, so I got to take my daughter, I got to take my son, I got to be over there. No, be grateful. Be grateful for the morning, be grateful for the evening. It is so helpful for all of us. And I hope we can all do it in our own ways, not the Wixa'rika, the Wicho way, but there it is. We all have the power to do that and help ourselves in our environment. So that's so I'm honored to share that.
Mm, beautiful.
And before you go on to, I hope there will be time to, because I would like to hear if people have questions, of many things that we cover, but I want you to continue to keep asking me.
Yeah, we'll share a little more, and then you're right. We should open up for questions. That'd be great. Is the is the fire a part of your daily life? Do you incorporate fire, or are there specific things you do to incorporate the elements in general into your life, to give gratitude, to invite them in, to ask for their guidance?
Yes, it is. The fire in our culture, we use it for ceremonies. Like a person is going through a lot of turmoils, shifting times. We build a fire and we bring that person and say, I want you to stand here while I do my prayers, because it is one of the elements that is supposed to help us purify all this, whatever we are going through, whether we lost somebody or whether we just can't find a way out of something emotional or physically. the fire to us in the Wixa'rika way plays a big role. Because again, we have a belief, we have this credo that goes many, many hundreds of years ago, that when we voice that out, when we say our pain or our discomfort or our concerns, we believe that the fire then takes that away from us and does, I guess the closest word would be, and does its magic. Not that it's going to reciprocate to us in a way that it's going to solve our problems, but it helps us. It's like having somebody, I guess you would say another form, it would be like having or going to your therapist, she or he is there, listening to you and says suggestions how to help. Well, that's our source, fire. And that's why I don't have you don't see it right now, but on the other room, I always have a candle burning. And again, because that's a fire. And again, because we believe having a candle, it's a light for those of us, for those families, or for those four-legged ones, or any creature that has left the body in this earth, meaning dying. They need that light, and they need that prayer, they need that essence from us that they're not alone. So I always have a candle lit for that it's somebody's there for that soul. Somebody's there for that moment that leaves the body behind here and goes into another realm. So fire, candle is so essential to us. And it should be to all of us, all humanity. That's my belief.
Very potent.
Yeah, yeah. I'm just so delighted to have you and your people there. I'm very, very um, just honored, because I was telling my companion she had to go and do some other things outside, but I was telling her, I said, I'm glad she reached out. I said, so here we are.
Aw,
Thank
good.
you.
I am so delighted by this connection
Mm.
and your spirit. You bring such an unconditional love to everyone that you meet, and even just today getting to interact with you again. Even though I've only ever interacted with you in person, there's a joy, a simplicity, a lightness that you exude, and it's an honor to be with you. So thank you for saying yes. And um, I guess the next question would be around, are you connected, is your lineage connected to any stories, any prophecies that talked about the time that we're in today, the time that we're in right now? Because I think we're all feeling the intensity of it. We're feeling this kind of pivotal moment in time where we could go any direction. And I was curious if your people have been talking about this.
Well, there's a legend and there's stories that talks about the coming shifting times, the coming events that we need to. It's not the end of the world, at least from my perspective, from what I learned. Which, by the way, I'm sure you know this. My tribe is linked to the Mayan people, and we come from that lineage. So, and the Mayan people were very high evolved. I mean, they were just. I mean, I'm just blown away with their ways of describing things. So they did, even the Mayan and my tribal people speak about coming events, and they always talked about cycles. Some cycles are there's teachings that we're supposed to be learning from that, from hard times, from um, tornadoes, from dry season, the farmers, there's not enough water, from fires. There's lessons for us, not a hard lesson that we need to wake up, but rather a preparation. And if we don't, get away from using less or being dependent less of things that are so easy, like turning the lights on and grabbing my cell phone and reaching, here we are, in this media right here. But really utilizing that, but also appreciating that, but also not forgetting the communicating and understanding in other forms, in other ways. So we are taught that whenever we are faced like this time, around this time, that we are, at least for my elders, the way they talk about it is we're supposed to listen and witness a lot of things that are chaotic, that we don't agree with. It's about separation. It's about who's right and who's wrong, and one powerful and one taking over the other one. We're supposed to be really, some of us really be in tune and learning something that we can do something. It doesn't have to be done through violence. It can be done, again, going back to one of the questions that you had earlier, it can be done through prayers. It can be done through coming together with your neighbors or forming a community and really sharing your thoughts and really making something out of that that it's going to be a positive effect to the rest of the world or to the rest of the community. And something needs to shift, basically. That's their motto, that's their intention. And I am here to really do my best part and really not just speak about it, but trying to model that in my land here. Because in my land here, yeah, people can say, why are you doing that? Can't you do it this way or that? Well, I want to really make something that is different. So internally, it can have this ripple effect to other communities, to other countries. Like, like right now, as we are talking, I had told one of my community leaders that I was going to be speaking to you from this island. I said, and this island is considered very sacred, meaning where you are. And they were like, oh, we're going to be in tune, they said. We're going to be trying to be synchronized. And they work a lot by telepathy, what you would call it. And that's the other form that we need to really be learning more. And how do you learn those ways? By having people like me, traditional people that's their lineage, by having people of the Mayan people, or having people from the Incas or Native Americans, traditional. And you don't have to idolize them, but just hear them. Just, take what resonates with you and make it yours. And then in turn, you share with the people that you are surrounded with. So those are the shifting times that we're supposed to be really learning and really internalizing, not going to panic. There's one major thing that they say, and not being pulled because your best friend is telling, no, you gotta vote for this or that, or you gotta be in this spot or not over there. No, but really trusting and honoring them, but also trusting the sacredness in you. And really believe, not the faith of religion, but really believing and having the faith that whatever you're doing is making a difference. And you're not going to hear the audience telling, yes, you are making a difference, but knowing and trusting that whatever you're doing is making the difference. And it is. So we have to kind of survive through these hard times. And really, the best recommendation or the best guide I can share, it will be coming together with like-minded people and really just supporting each other and having your prayers in the morning and the evenings, and really making it a habit and believe that you are making a difference. You are. So these are stories that are spoken, and it has evolved over time, but nonetheless, it has similar messages over and over. Like I remember when I was 5 years old, my grandfather used to tell me that times are coming, and I used to freak out because he would talk really. He would say there will be dry season, there will be a lot of fires, there will be, a lot of pest when people are dying. What are you gonna do? And I thought he was just mean to me. But you imagine, I'm 5 years old, but actually, in actuality, I should say, he was preparing me. And then later he would tell me, I'm going to do a ceremony so you won't be scared and afraid. I'm going to take that away from you. But these are the facts of life. You will lose, you will come across people that you lost dear friends, or you will come across that people have lost everything in life. Be helpful to them. Don't feel sorry for them. Be helpful for them. Best medicine, right? I mean, and I'm here to share that with all of you guys. Best medicine. So I hope we can all overcome that. It's not the end of the world, but it's gonna be the end of that cycle,
Mm,
that that time. And then out of that, we need to have new beginnings. That's the mentality, that's the belief, but we need to really support each other. That's the glue, I guess, will
yeah.
be.
Wow. So
I
good.
know.
Okay, before I open it up to the other people's questions, I'm
Yeah.
just so curious about the color that the Wixa'rika express. And I want to know, what is the role that art and music and dance and color play in your lineage and in your practices? What's its significance? What's its importance? And how can
Yeah,
we incorporate that more into our lives?
yeah. Music, art, any kind of a music, it can be any kind of an instrument, drums to the fancy instrument. We have always believed that that is essential for our spirit, so essential, because we believe somehow it's connected to other energies. That's why a lot of times we feel melancholic because it reminds us of something many, many years ago, or sometimes we just feel like dancing because that's music or the lyrics of that song. It just moves us, it elevates us. So we believe on music that it has these energies of waves, that takes us in higher places. Uh, so we're always playing the drum. In our culture, it's more common the drum. Um, we have instrumental, a little violin, it's a handmade, and a little guitar, but most in our culture, it's the drum, and we call it it's like a whistle. It's like a bamboo, but it's not a flute. It's very short. We use that to heal. We use that to express our discomfort, to express our joyful, to express uh, something moving from one place energetically wise from the other place. So we use a lot of music to lift things, but also to move things. So again, that has to be accordingly to whatever culture you're at the moment. But in general, music, as we all know, it is just beautiful to hear that. I mean, I believe if we didn't have music, our world would be really not in good in good ways. And then going back to the colors, our Wixa'rika people, our Huichol people believe that the more brighter color we wear, it synchronizes with our Mother Earth. Because if you see beneath the sea, it has colors, they say. I never been way down beneath the sea, but I seen the creeks and the rivers. Because if you see the pebbles, the little sand grains, it is just full of all colors. So they say when we wear bright colors, we're like, hey, we're together, we're synchronizing, we're bringing up joyfulness, we're bringing up happiness, and everything has a meaning. Like, I don't know if you can see it in your screen, but the purple, it symbolizes in our culture high awareness. And the green, any kind of shape of green, lime or dark green, it means new beginnings. White is transparency, but also clearance, clarity. And purple or light pink, it means faith in oneself. No, not on the outside, but within ourselves. So everything like red, I don't know if you can see, red, it's fire, but also it means compassion and love. Yellow, it means learning and enlightenment. So everything that I wear in different ceremonies is because I want to bring joy. I want to awaken. I want to gift people the joy that they are missing or that they don't have. So I always tell people, dress up, not just on special occasion, not just when you're gonna go to a party. Dress up, even if it is by yourself. Have a candle, have a ceremony, be with your spirit, and that's where you need to be more grounded. So colors play a big role in our culture. So I'm happy to share that because that's what we should all have, right? I mean, I love the flower that you have from where you are from because that symbolizes innocence, innocence in the moment, meaning you're just not cluttered with other stuff. You're just like a child, coming into this world,
Oh,
eager to learn. Isn't it beautiful?
so beautiful. Wow.
Yeah, I'm touched every time I see my companion knows I'm always complimenting people. Oh, you look so beautiful.
Aw. It does. It does bring joy when
Yeah,
to be with the color and the expression, and I've been in this last year really been more intentional about, like you said, just getting dressed up just for my own ceremony
yeah,
to present myself to what I'm praying to.
right.
And it feels good. It feels expansive. It does bring me joy. So I
And
love
and at the same time, it changes the energy,
this.
It shifts you in a different level, which is what
Absolutely.
we all need.
Exactly. Ah, so good. Okay, so if you would like to ask a question, you can go down to the bottom of your screen. There's a word reactions, and you can raise your hand. And while you're doing that, I'm going to ask him one more question, and then we're going to take your questions. So,
Yeah,
right now, as I mentioned, this month's blessing of the cacao, like, we make cacao and we give it to people all over the world. And this month's blessing is the Rainbow Warriors edition. And I know that that might not be a specific, I don't know if that is a phrase that you have with the Wixa'rika.
Well, we do have similar to that, but not quite like that.
Yeah.
Um, as I explained earlier, our dialect, our language, it doesn't categorize just one, like per se, a warrior.
Mm,
Uh, it becomes, from our perspective, from our language, it's more like, for this time you're gonna carry this. For this time you're gonna be this. You're gonna be responsible for this. And we say in our dialect, which means you're protecting this sacred area. Your responsibility is to be aware. Nothing passes you without you being, without you being okay that it's gonna be okay. So something to that, we do have that, and guardians we do have, protectors we do have, um, in our dialect. And I was thinking about that, and I thought about it, and it was a good question that you brought that up, and I was like, okay, what could be related to that? And it's I don't want to say it's challenging, but I know it's there, but we do honor those that become and are for however long that spot or that
mm,
they hold that space to be a warrior. It's either a male or a female. It's very honorable. In our culture, in our language, we don't have per se that exactly, but we
mm.
do have similar things. So I don't know. I hope that's a
It
little
is.
helpful for
It
you.
is helpful. It's really cool to hear how in your dialect, in your language, there aren't certain, what I'm getting is that it's more about the whole versus the
Yeah,
individual.
yeah. Like for instance, you were saying earlier, you asked me about the fire. In our language, we say, and I heard this from other cultures. In our language, we say tatewari. Tatewari it doesn't just define it fire. It means grandfather fire. It means for the fire that helps us. It means the fire that listens to us. It means the fire that helps us realize, the fire that gives us warmth, but also the fire that if it's not protected and guarded accordingly, it can be out of control. So Tatewari in our language is not just one. It's like you said, it's the container, is per se. It's
Mm.
interesting. I find it interesting now that I
Wow.
know the Spanish language and then the English language, and I'm like, wow, that is expensive.
Wow. There's a lot in that.
Hmm. Yeah,
Candy Wheeler, would you like to ask a question?
yeah.
Yeah, thank you. And Rutury, thank you for coming on to this call and sharing your like wisdom with us. It means a lot, and I love hearing like all the beautiful stories.
Mhm.
One thing that I've known Wixa'rika and Huichol for, and I know they're well known for, is the story of the blue deer. And I'm wondering if you would be open to sharing a little bit more about that. And also the significance of like praying out loud with your voice versus just inward with your thoughts.
Beautiful
Yeah,
question.
the significance of that.
Beautiful question. And I'm glad in your audience, Mackenzie, you have some people that are kind of, I'm always blown away how some people know a little bit of my culture. And I'm like, oh, wow, there's somebody knows actually about the blue deer. So I'm sure, I don't know if you have been in person with some Wixa'rika or Huichol person, is if you have, I'm sure a lot of the times they don't speak English. They only speak the Wixa'rika and very, very broken Espanol, like you're trying to tune in, but you can get that by their energy, that what they're saying, it is so. So the blue deer, like I said earlier, my community is from Huautla. We have 4 communities in the Huichol community. And each community has a different way of talking of the teacher blue deer, Kauyumare. Um, from my culture, we say Kauyumare is the teacher of the medicine people, like myself, like my grandfather and my sister. Kauyumare is the blue deer is the one that leads the medicine people, the traditional medicine people to the higher being, as long as you continue to be humble. It's not about our ego. It's not about being self-centered. It's more about being humble. And as long as you continue to that, our belief, our credo is that you're stepping on the steps of the blue deer, and it's leading you to the higher place. It's not that you cannot be tempted with monetary. People pay you, people give you money to say something that you're not supposed to say. And that's where it becomes complicated. But mostly, the blue deer is the cultivator of our medicine plant, which is hikuri. Peyote, it's known in modern language. Um, but also, the blue deer is the one that it kept it from being destroyed, from being uh, taken away from these times, according to our legends. And therefore, that's why the blue deer, every time that we pray, we say Kauyumari, Tatewari. And often it coincides with your other question that, saying it out loud in words versus being just in silence. Um, when we say it out loud in words, we believe the air needs to hear my essence, the breath of me. So when I say Kauyumare, I literally visualize this essence coming out to the wind, and in turn, the wind takes it. So there's that difference. And the other one, when you're praying in silence, you're more into your circle, you're more into your container, but also your spirit. You're getting in touch with your spirit more when you say it more in a very silent way. So those are the beliefs that we have in our culture. And I want to say a little bit more of Kauyumare. It's the one that Kauyumare is the blue deer is the one that led the shaman, the medicine person, into this place what it's known now, Real de Catorce in Spanish, in the middle of the desert in Mexico, not in Mexico City, but in another state in San Luis Potosí. And in our language is called Wirikuta. Wirikuta, it means it's a sacred land, and this is the nest of our medicine plant. Uh, it is been said, and it is real that if you just go there without being in a very ceremonial way, if you just go there because you want to get high by taking the medicine plant, you're not going to see anything. But if you go there humble, sooner or later you start to hear like a deer is walking around. I'm sure some of us have witnessed that. Even your dog, you hear it from a distance. You hear the blue deer walking around, and if you follow gently where it's coming from, sure enough, in the ground, there's hikuri, the medicine plant, greeting you and saying, "Here I am. I've been waiting for you. Let's do a ceremony." And that's to us very sacred. So the blue deer, it has many ways, but I just share from my community, from my grandfather generation, and my Neyo, which is my father, and Haitzima, which is my sister, which is the one behind me over there. She's present, she's part of this. Thank you for your question.
Thank you, Candy. That was beautiful.
Yeah, really beautiful.
Rebecca, you're up.
Hello, Rutury.
Hi.
I can't see you. This is Rebecca. I was at Ancient Springs with Joe
Oh my
at one
gosh.
of the retreats. Hello.
Wow.
So good to see your face.
Oh.
My apologies. I'm in bed because my daughter is here very sick next to me. So,
Bless
but I had to
both of you.
yeah, but I had to tune in for this. So, what a beautiful synchronicity to connect with you here. And thank you so much to Mackenzie for putting this together. I'm new to this community, Mackenzie. I actually am here in Phoenix with Candy and have been to some of her cacao ceremonies. And I'm originally from Hawaii. So when I found out about this, I was like, and Rutury, I was like, oh my gosh, the beautiful synchronicities. I love it so much.
Mm.
But my question for you, Rutury, is, here in our Western culture, a lot of us are very disconnected from the land and from Mother Earth and from nature. And I was wondering if you could speak into within your culture, how do you stay connected and have reverence and really what are some ways that we can sort of regain our sense of reciprocity with the land and with our connection to earth, that's just been so lost? I think that people really want that, but it's in those little small practices and those little small things that we're just are become so lost in our culture. So I was wondering if you could just speak into some of the ways in which your culture honors that and just share a little bit of that with us.
Absolutely. And by the way, it's not only in the Western culture that it's losing that, connection. Even in my tribe, it's happening with the younger generations. Again, I go back to the early days, they're more in their cell phones, they're like, I don't want to go and do ceremonies anymore. They say, if I can Google this or see it on YouTube. And it's sad to see. So whenever I get back there, I'm invited to do a ceremony with them. That's the first thing I talk. I said, try to minimize how much we depend or we rely on technology. I said, try really hard. I said, because by doing that, I don't know the scientific effect of that, but I do believe that it interferes of developing our spirituality and our telepathy ways. I really do think it does affect that. I don't mean that you cannot be without it. I mean, I have my cell phone, but at night I put it away in another room, and I minimize my connection with TV or being online. I mean, it doesn't mean that I cannot interact with people. I do. I love that. But I try at the end of the day, I try to, as they say in this culture, I try to have my cup more full, more llena, more to the top with what I was raised with, meaning gratitude, meaning prayers, meaning I walk the land, I fulfill my mind more. Yes, I walked the land barefooted. I felt the dirt. I felt something, that he was on the dirt, that he kind of made my foot kind of like a little bit uneven. That tells me that I need to internalize more of that than being all day in an office or computer or listening other people. I need to be more with nature. I don't know if you had the opportunity to go here in the land where the water is just percolating, our spring water. I always tell people, go there, don't have anything, but just listen to the spring water that is coming, I don't know how deep from beneath earth. It's gonna speak to you. It's gonna say something to you, and tune into that. And we are like, you remember the old radio transistors, where you had to dial, static, and you got the finally no static, and then you say finally, oh yeah, I'm in tune now. Well, that's what we need to do ourselves. Go with nature and be more with where forests and trees are, and try to develop to have in your house an altar where you have a little space. It doesn't have to be fantastic, but it has a little where you just go and pray. And like I said, your prayer should be something from you. And it doesn't have to be every day the same. It can be something different. Light a candle, tuning into the candle. If you can't do that, go somewhere where in a community where they have a fire, and you don't have to really, be in this way of living, but just be there and feel the warmth of the fire and just internalize everything. Be really one, be in alignment with that and become one with that. And really, it's going to help you out. I always say this because it is a healing. That's our source. That's my source. Every time that I have a fire here, I sit there by myself and I'm not singing. Often I sing, often I pray, but a lot of times I'm just in silence. And when I'm in silence, uh, my mind, my kapuri just goes to the times when I was with my grandfather, in the village, living a simple life. And that to me, I believe it really replenishes me to be who I am. So if you have something like that, I recommend for you to really follow that. I really want you to start doing something. And we're never too old, we're never too young to begin something like that. I mean, I want you to take away the Western culture beliefs. You can still help yourself. You can still help your companion or your four-legged ones or families, anybody, by doing that. But you have to start first grounding yourself. You have to start yourself by being in alignment with water, ocean, the air, the fire, and our Mother Earth. I don't know if I share with you in your group that you were here, but I talk a lot about this, that not many of us really listen the humming melody that our earth has. It has a melody. It has a sound. It will be really uniquely if we slowly try to pay attention to that, because that's a healing for us. It's a healing for our environment. So being one, becoming connected with earth, becoming connected with our spirit, it's the best gift to ourselves. And I know it's simple, simplicity, but that's where it becomes powerful. It's very powerful. That's where I talk about being a healer. You know, you're no longer speaking it, you're holding it. And therefore, when you have it, you're sharing it with other people. So I want to really encourage you to do that. And if you're ever around this area, stop by and listen to the spring water. You know, really, it's a healing. I invite you to do that. If nobody is here, if we don't have a group, I want you to sit out there in the spring and just receive the healing. Thank you for your question.
Thank you for that question.
Thank you, Rutury. That was beautiful. And I will be back in June, actually. I'll be there doing another retreat with Joe
Oh,
in
yeah.
June. So
I'm
I'll be
excited because there's
facilitating
so
with
many
him. Yeah.
people that are coming in that group that is, I can't wait to see them.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So beautiful. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll take one more quick question. Calypso. Is that your name? Yes.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi. Um, so I'm new here. I actually just very recently got introduced to KAKAO. This is I think from Mackenzie. One of my friends, Katie, she introduced me. She did like a very small introduction to KAKAO, and she sent me this today. Talking about synchronicities. So I very recently got this huge pull to go back to my roots.
Mm,
And I don't all of my grandparents have passed.
mm,
I don't really have where I live. I live in Delaware on the East Coast. There's not a lot of groups or any form of support that has to do with where I'm from. My grandmother was from Nayarit. And because I've been feeling the pull to really get in touch with my ancestry, what would you recommend would be the best way to do that? Like, I'm not sure if I should do like a full-on pilgrimage or where I could find like a group where I can just connect.
yeah. Well, I really feel you. And I just looking at you right now and sensing your energy through this picture here. I really feel that you do have connection with that state of Nayari. I mean, and I'm glad that you really want to find out and go deeper to understand that part of you, because that's where the spirituality is. That's where that's where your yearning, your gifts are from. That's the roots. That's the threads. And as far as finding out more, I couldn't tell you how to do that. I can say to you, just be not extremely, but be cautious as you search for a corner or a group or somebody that could possibly enhance what you're searching for. Because, and I say this because um, I'm not the only one here in the States, but I am one of the first person as a medicine person that really is trying to guide people properly in an unconditional way that they can feel themselves safe. Because priority, when you're searching for something, you're vulnerable. And you need to feel some kind of a safetiness to really go deeper than that. Because as you go deeper there, you become vulnerable. So I recommend for you to, I don't want to say just come to me, but I'm saying, you know, search. And if you ever want to join out here, by all means, you know, I don't have retreats every month, but I do have like one is coming up in June and another one in December. That's all that I lead. The rest, other people come and use these facilities. But that will be the other way of really enhancing your thirst of that. You can search and Tepic, but I truly feel you don't need to search because I really sense this. And sincerely, I'm saying this to you that I have no doubts that you have connection with the tribal people. It's just I don't know which one because in Nayarit there's the Huicholes, the Wixa'rikas, and then there's the Coras. And
Tacoras.
yeah, and both are really just very traditional. And I would just be blown away, for you to find out and say, I'm this or I'm that. I'm saying, fantastic. Now you have your roots right there. So I would really encourage you to keep researching. And if you happen to be in our neighborhood or come by, and, if we don't have nobody here, then we can do a ceremony, to enhance that yearning of yours. But I
Thank
appreciate you coming forward and sharing that. Thank you.
That's special. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, I'm just gonna post this in the thread one more time as we're closing out today, honoring Rutury in your time. These are the websites if you want to learn more about what they're up to. And I'm also going to be putting in their PayPal and Venmo because they are receiving donations as they build out this retreat center. And it is reliant on these donations and the generosity of a collective effort. So I am going to just put that in the thread. And Rutury, do you have any closing words? Do you have anything else on your heart that you would like to share with us as we close out this ceremony and this time together?
Yeah, absolutely. I hope that there's more people like you, Mackenzie. They really do such a good service. I know you're over there and you were here in Sedona. We almost went to your gathering. I would love to attend one of your ceremonies because it's needed. It's really needed gatherings like that. It's so important, so vital for ourselves, but also vital for our environment. Because in those gatherings, I believe, you teach the sacredness of what we are present with, which means cacao, where it comes from and how it's harvested and who benefits from that. You're just that bridge. You know, I totally see that. And thank you for mentioning, our center too, because that's what we are too. We are here for a purpose. And the reason is to have conversations like this today. And not many of my tribes speak English, let alone Spanish, because that's not their concerns. But then there's other people like me that are sent out of that, like you are in many ways, Mackenzie. You're that bridge too in many other forms. Um, I really want to encourage for you to continue more gatherings like that because people need to be aware that despite of a lot of atrocity in many cultures, there's still sacredness. There's still the cacao ceremony. There's still the medicine ceremony. There's still ceremonies without any medicine that you can still be connected through art, music. I mean, it's full of it. But there's gotta be people that really, like yourself, I don't know how long you've been doing this, but I assume something came calling you, and there you are, and here you are now. So I wanna encourage and support gatherings like this. So I hope for the listeners, they can take that also, attend gatherings like that. And I understand not every gathering is what we're searching for, but at least you went there. At least you were part of it, like this gathering here. It's not for everyone, but whoever was there, it resonated with them. So with that, I'm really happy to have shared everything that I share with you because like I said in the beginning, it's not something that I went to school for, that I learned this. It's a passed on generation, and I'm so happy for all your audience out there and everyone. And thank you, Mackenzie. I'm very appreciative.
Oh, I'm so happy. I have many notes and received all these gems today that I very much needed. And so thank you for your wisdom and your time.
Thank you.
We have
And
people here from Africa, from Europe, from New Zealand, from Australia. We have people from all over the world that are getting to receive this today.
oh, thank you. And really, Mackenzie, if you're ever having, again, I don't know if you come back here in Sedona again, but I really want to make a space to go and attend to one of your ceremonies, because I hear from other people, your ceremonies are just incredible.
Oh,
So I want to support that too. Thank
I
you.
would love to have you at a cacao ceremony, and maybe one day we do something on Maui. And
Oh, my campaign would love that because she has a sister there somewhere in Hawaii. I don't know what part.
oh, really? Okay, well, I'll
Yeah.
connect with her on that for sure.
Yeah. I
Okay.
mean, not a sister, a niece, I'm
Yes.
sorry.
Okay,
Yeah, that will be in the future. Let's work on it.
love that. Okay,
Thank
deal.
you again.
Well, is there any way that you would like to close this out formally?
Yeah, I just like to want to say a prayer again for this beautiful time, beautiful gathering here. And it's a prayer of gratitude. And I'll say it this way. Neteukari ta iyari pem ane. Ta heima pem yuanek. Haramana pem ane. Yuri naka. Ta tewali pem ane akak. Hikatamuts yananay nene. Anywhere. Ua paitani niyo hikani. Hikatamuts the niyo uwani. Ua pait. Hikatamuts. Pampalios. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mm.
Mahalo to everybody for joining today. You heard him. He's encouraging us to have more gatherings like this, more ceremonies, more time for us to come together and connect, share our hearts, be open and honest about what we're going through, what we're moving through, what we're dreaming of, what we're visioning. This is like such a beautiful and needed encouragement from you today, Rutury, and I know that this community is going to be activated by that even more. And it was exactly what was needed. So we all say yes, we answer this call, and we just send so much love and many blessings to you and your companion and that incredible land. And I cannot wait to return to it when the time comes.
Oh, I'm excited.
So much aloha. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Adios. Awaliata. Bye.
Bye, everybody. Talk to you soon. Mwah. Happy Sunday.
Bye.